After the bell rings, the world goes back to normal. But for families like the Brookshaws, the storm doesn't end. It just gets quieter. They have to live with the aftermath, fear, the long-term effects, and the constant worry that the skies could darken again at any moment. Because when pediatric cancer touches your child, you don't get to turn away. You live under a forecast that never truly clears. For episode 2, After the Bell, the Brookshaw story. Hey guys, today on a Hope for a Cure podcast, we're talking about something the world just keeps avoiding, which is the fact that pediatric cancer is not rare. You know, it's not rare when it's your child. And families can't keep living in a system that treats pediatric cancer like an afterthought. We have to act. So we're pushing for pediatric cancer to be declared a national emergency. Remember, guys, awareness isn't enough anymore.
And no matter if you're tuning in as a parent, an advocate, or a supporter, or someone who just cares, this episode is for you.
Absolutely. Welcome back to a Hope for a Cure podcast. I'm LaTanya Morrison.
And I'm Jason Collins.
And this is a protected space for parents. No judgment, no guilt, no pity, just the truth. Just legacy and action. But before we jump in, I want to take a moment to celebrate something. Something big. Jason, I hear you have some good news to share.
Yes, I do, Latanya, and I'm very excited to announce that I just had my first op-ed published, and I want to send special thanks to Florida Today for giving me that opportunity and that platform.
That is awesome. Congratulations, Jason. Can you share what inspired you to write this op-ed?
Sure, and thank you, Latanya. What inspired me is that when I joined the nonprofit sector, I thought I was just coming in as a communications pro. But sitting in rooms with congressional staff, I quickly realized pediatric cancer isn't treated with urgency. When I learned it gets less than 5% of overall cancer funding, even though it's the leading disease killer of kids, it hit me really hard. That status quo is failing families, and something drastic really has to happen. That's why I wrote this to push real action, not just talk.
Oh, that's right. I know that's right, Jason. Well, guess what? We're going to drop the full op-ed in the comments, guys, for anyone who wants to read it. It is really a good read. I encourage you to just read it and share. You know, this message, it needs to reach the right people. It's powerful and it's necessary. Jason, we are so proud of you. So everyone knows why we have this podcast. This podcast is to make sure not only that we share space, that we protect space with the families who are in the fight, but also that we advocate for it. And we are in the process of trying to get pediatric cancer declared as a national health emergency. And believe it or not, guys, this was actually Jason's idea. And once he set me down and he was just like, this is why we should do it, we were all in. And I was like, you know what? Let's do it. We moved forward with it quickly and just started putting things into action. So tell me, when people hear Jason, national emergency, what do you think they assume that
So
they
when people, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
So when people hear national emergency, they often think of sudden crisis, like a disaster, a pandemic.
Mhm.
But pediatric cancer is an emergency that's been unfolding for decades, quietly destroying families, and it hasn't been treated with real urgency.
You're so right. I want to add something to that because this is heartbreaking. It's been heartbreaking for
Yes.
decades, and little to nothing has been done. You know, things aren't done with the urgency that these children and their families need. These families are suffering. They're suffering every single day. Just watching the hopelessness and the helplessness that these parents feel as they're fighting for their child's life, it changes you. It definitely changes you. And it's even harder when you realize that the system is moving slower than your child's cancer. Mm. We are going to make a difference. And I'm going to keep saying this until I am blue in my face. We cannot keep sitting back offering thoughts and prayers. We can't keep saying, families, you're not fighting alone, because the truth is they are. These families are fighting alone. They are walking through this storm with lack of funding, lack of resources, lack of clinical support, and a lot of times lack of human support. They don't need our sympathy. I don't even think they want our sympathy. They want our support. They want us to fight for them. They need our action. Because I know for a fact that when you are in this fight, you can't take on anything else. So they need our advocacy. Not tomorrow, not next week. They need it now. Think about this. Can you imagine watching your child fight for their lives and there's nothing you could do about it? Imagine seeing your child losing a battle with cancer. It's devastating, man. Can you imagine that hopelessness and that helplessness feeling? The fear of your child dying and just thinking or worrying, is this going to be their last day with me? Some people that I talk to, they don't even want to think about it. Like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to think about it. If that were your child in a fight for their lives, wouldn't you want everyone in the world to do everything that they could to save them?
Latanya, I was shocked too, because when it's your own child, there's no later. We can't keep accepting these slow processes. These families are calling out for us to stand up now, not someday. We all have a role, our action, our voices, our advocacy. By
Mhm.
pushing for this national health emergency, we're ensuring that no family walks that battle alone. This is how we change the system by standing with them right here and right now.
So please share with our audience in layman's terms, like you broke it down with me. What does it actually mean if we are if we get pediatric cancer declared a national emergency?
Well, declaring pediatric cancer a national health emergency means the government finally treats it like the crisis that it is, not just in words, but in action. This isn't symbolic, it's structural, and I'm not just making noise.
Hmm.
We live in one of the most medically advanced countries in the world. Yet children with cancer are still being treated with decades old approaches that would never be acceptable in adult medicine.
It is unacceptable.
And our children are being left behind. An emergency declaration sends a clear message to the entire healthcare system that this is urgent, this is not optional, and we can't wait any longer. When something is labeled an emergency, leadership is forced to respond with urgency, funding, accountability, and action. So that's exactly what pediatric cancer demands right now. And this is the most tangible action.
When I heard Jason break it down like that, I said to myself, I just thought, like, we need to act now. And that's why, in my capacity as the executive director of the Amai Butler Foundation, we have officially started that process. We drafted and sent certified letters to the administration and to elected officials who are in positions to make these decisions. You know, and that includes leadership on both sides, the majority and the minority. Because pediatric cancer is it's not a political issue. We're not going to let people turn that into a political issue. It's a human issue. These parents, they need help now. They want better treatments now. We want our government to understand that these families can't wait. Children can't wait. They shouldn't have to wait. So now let's talk about what comes next, because remember, we were telling you guys that we're going to reach out. We're going to reach out and ask for your help. This is what action looks like. When you tell these parents, I wish it's something that I could do, this is what you can do. So we told you we're going to come with it. We're coming with it now. But we need you guys to come with it too. But when we all come together, our voices become a microphone. And that microphone will turn into a megaphone. A megaphone is too loud to ignore, to turn away. They have to hear us. We'll take back the power that we have, the power that we've instilled in them. And we need to let them know that if you guys do not protect our children, then we need to put someone in office in these positions that is willing to do what you're not willing to do. And we need to say that with our chest. So to every parent who's listening, especially those who are exhausted and overwhelmed, and you feel like you have nothing left, these are the parents who are in the fight. We understand you. We see you. And we are there for you. We've been there for you. We will not stop being there for you. Right now, and this is to the parents, people are listening to you. You have their ears. Your community, all of the people that are surrounding you and offering you that support, talk to them. Share this podcast, share the message. And more than anything, call your elected officials. And when you call that number, you make sure you tell them how you feel. Make sure you tell them that you want them to co-sign declaring pediatric cancer a national health emergency. Who wouldn't support that? Who wouldn't fight for our children? We are asking you, please don't stay silent. Stand with us. We know that together, we're not just voices. We are a movement, and they know it too. Don't surrender your power. Remember, we told you guys that we're not saying awareness. And it's okay if others say it, but we're not, because we know everyone's aware. We want people to join the fight.
We can all do more than, hope for a cure.
Absolutely. And if we band together, we can make it happen. But remember, we need you, but they need all of us. And speaking of they, so Jason, it's my favorite. It is my favorite part of the show. It is
I
the
love this segment too.
superhero segment.
This superhero segment. I love this segment.
I guess I love this so much because I understand how therapeutic it is for families to be able to tell their stories.
I think today went awesome. We're here to raise awareness for our babies. I got a warrior myself, and 4% is not enough whatsoever.
And today I have the honor to welcome superhero parents. So I just want to let you guys know that Robert will not, he'll be here, but he's running a little late. So we are going to start with his amazing wife, Amberlynn Brookshaw.
We were talking to a family, and she said, I said to them, I'm like, you guys are so strong, and she's like, they have no choice but to be strong. I mean, what else are they gonna do?
I can't tell you how many times I've heard, "You're so strong. I don't know how you do it."
How did that make you feel?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in a way, like it shows that I'm being a mother and that I care and that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But little do people know I'm really dying on the inside. Like it's gonna make me tear up. I've personally gone through a lot with everything from his diagnosis, just myself. Like the I felt like his kidney disease was my fault because I passed it down. I
Mm.
had that mom guilt and just trying to stay strong around. You have to be strong for your other children and your family, and you don't want them to see that you're upset or anything. it's it's hard. It's being strong is you play a good role on the outside, but on the
Mhm.
inside you're truly not okay. You're not that strong person. Behind closed doors, it could be one little thing triggers you and you're crying your eyes out, or you get frustrated at the world. It's
Mhm.
very hard. You honestly get no time to even
Nope.
yourself, because if you're not at the hospital with one kid, you're at home trying to do homework or balance
Mhm.
out both, because we have technically there's three other children that we have to juggle with as well. So when he was in the hospital and trying to do that and be strong on top of it, it's like a whole nother whirlwind, especially when there's added kids in. I
How did
mean,
you guys handle that? Like,
so
how did you
that
handle
we altercated a lot. In the beginning we both stayed. Some family helped us out and stuff like that with Madison, my younger one, and then the other two girls we get on the weekends and holidays. So they were with their mom already. We did, sit down and have a conversation with them to explain, so they kind of knew what was going on. Um, so it was very hard though, because they were upset because they didn't get to see him for a good, I want to say, solid month, maybe a little longer than that. As to where Madison accidentally got to see him because they let her, when she went up one day, um, they let her surprise them, and then finally we had a meet where all of the kids got to be in one room together. We told them we were doing cards for Christmas for the cancer ward, and then I snuck over and the nurse brought her into the little room that they have for families. And you want to talk about tears? I have that video. It's very precious to us.
Surprise! Did I fool you?
Yeah. Say hi, girls.
Look at that bean! Sure, you starting to cry.
We good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Here, I'll come see you.
Hold on. Your house? Guys, you gotta come up. Just be careful. You gotta get his bag one more time.
Where?
If you hear background noise, just know that they have a family, and it's filled with love and children. So just bear with us, okay? So welcome to the show, super parents Amberlynn and Robert Brookshaw, whose child battled cancer at a very early age and is now in survivorship.
And this story matters because we want families listening to know that every journey deserves space here. Families still fighting, families in survivorship, and families carrying the legacy of a child that they love. So the first question I want to ask, before cancer, what was Connor like?
Oh, that's a good one. He was the sweet little lovable, always wanting to be cuddled and have a plush toy kind of kid. Running around, your normal, typical, average little 2-year-old.
Well, the moment that you heard the diagnosis, do you remember that moment?
Like it was yesterday, unfortunately.
Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday.
It was.
Well, what was the first thought that hit your mind as a parent?
So at first they didn't know right away it was cancer. They thought it was something called aplastic anemia.
Yeah.
And they were like, let's get the results and everything else like that. And I had never heard of aplastic anemia before.
And Dad Googled, of
so
course.
I Googled it.
Well, what was the hardest part of the journey that people don't talk about?
The hospital stays.
Yeah,
The hospital, being in and out of the hospital, I mean, missing a lot of work took a lot of toll on us. It was hard.
Balancing family life and each other.
Yeah.
Well, that might lead me to, what did your family need most during treatment that you didn't always receive?
I mean, we really
they've been there through everything.
Yeah,
all the families, anything we needed, they were there for. It was good.
What were the signs, the clues that brought him to the hospital, that made you bring him to the hospital?
Okay, so the week before, prior to bringing him to the hospital, he wasn't eating at all. He wasn't himself. And then the night before we took him to the hospital, I told him, I was like, "Hey, Bubba," I was like, "Bubba, let's go up to bed." And his body was just so weak that he literally stood up and almost fell. And then we went up to bed. And then the next morning, I woke up for work. I went to work. It was just like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I just had a bad gut feeling. I had a bad feeling. I went into work, and I told my boss, I was like, "I have a bad feeling. Something's wrong with my son. I had to leave to take him to the hospital." So I came back home from work. It was around like 8 o'clock. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. She called out of work. We took him in, and we got seen around. I was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was like a good 3-hour wait in the ER. And by the time they took his blood, and then within minutes of taking his blood, there's like 5 doctors in the room. And he was getting blood transfusions because his counts were so low.
But before that, prior to that, I had taken him to the doctors a few times beforehand because he was getting sick a lot. He had something with his eye. He had like a eye infection. What else was it? It was strep throat. He had lymph nodes. His lymph nodes were huge, and they kept this for 6 months. They dismissed me on a lot, telling me that it was nothing, that it was a virus he was getting over, and everything. And then it led up to that week of him getting severely sick, and weak when we took him in, and we knew right then and there that something was wrong.
Oh gosh. How old was he?
He was 2.5.
He was about to be
We were a
4.
month shy of his 3rd birthday.
It was a month after our wedding.
Yeah, we had just gotten married.
When Connor entered remission, what did people assume your life became?
They thought everything was just fine and dandy, no more doctors like we were going, that he was basically just a normal kid again.
Yep.
To me, I don't see it as remission until they ring that bell and they're off of all of the treatment.
Right.
Well, what is the reality of survivorship?
Depends on which way you go. If you're talking about just remission, or if you're talking about after everything stops.
Well, can you explain both?
So for remission, I would say it's still a constant worry, as well as survivorship is. You're still in clinic, a lot. Could be every week, could be every other month, whatever. Survivorship, you start to span out, but every little thing is PTSD. You get a cough, you get a fever, you notice a bruise, something is always going to trigger you in survivorship still. It's just going to bring that whole thing back to you. Unfortunately.
It's not a good feeling. Because you always think that, like, what if? It's always the what ifs.
Right.
And it's like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if it comes back? And it's sad because there's some kids that are in remission, and then around the same time he was, and we see them relapse, and I'm like, oh man, I was like, that's what I'm scared of.
What is still in your head a lot? What still is the thing that you're thinking about a lot? Even though he's doing well right now?
It's in my head all the time. Is if it's how's he doing? Like, if it's going to come back. Every doctor's appointment it's always like, oh my god, his numbers are low. Is it back? Or his numbers are fine. Oh my god, he's doing good. Like he's always sick. No matter, like right now, even though he's off chemo and everything, he still is always sick. And that's what worries me the most.
So he fluctuates with his numbers for his blood counts as well, which kind of throw you off. So every time you go, it could be a little low or it could be high. You never know what you're gonna get. It's always you never know. You don't know what to expect with him.
Yeah.
This is such a hard storm to weather. What kept you guys going?
We were just there for each other as much as we possibly can. I mean, she was off from work a lot more than I was. So when I wasn't there with her physically, I was there mentally for support and everything else like that. Same vice versa with her, with me.
I'm not gonna lie, like it wasn't easy. It did, affect us in other ways as well. We were freshly married and we didn't even have that time or anything because of everything. It just all hit right after. It was literally I think like 3 weeks after our wedding.
Oh wow.
That everything went into effect, and it was like our whole world was just upside down.
Yep.
But we pushed through, the best that we could. It did take a toll at sometimes, it did almost break us as well. But, we pushed through and here we are today.
I'm so grateful that you guys pushed through, because not only am I grateful that you pushed through for you, but I'm grateful that you pushed through to show other people that it can be done and that you're stronger together. And I know that you all had some trials and tribulations, but do you have any pointers for married families, for couples, partners who are going through this horrible storm? What advice?
I would say, make time for yourself. Make time for yourselves.
And be open Be
Yeah.
open about everything. If if you're in your headspace and something's bothering you, don't hold it in. You have to communicate. If there's no communication, there's nothing. Yeah, there's no getting through it. It's tough.
I know you touched on this earlier. I don't want to ask you anything that you do not want to answer. So if you guys don't want to answer this next question, please say pass and we'll move on. If you're comfortable, please tell us about his diagnosis.
Oh, we can talk about that all day long. We are very open with all of it. Where do we begin? I remember it like it was yesterday. When we first took him into the hospital and we got back to the room, his levels, his blood level was at a 2 across everything. So if we didn't take him in when we did, we were going to be in bigger trouble, pretty much.
The doctor pretty much said if we didn't take him in that day, he would have been dead. Yeah. He would have never woke up Saturday morning.
We were there, I want to say, for, what was it, maybe two or 3 days. And they did was it a bone marrow?
Yeah, they did
a spinal tap. And we got the results later that day. They sat us down in the little room. And, at the time we were with Dr. Cookie at St. Chris, who was wonderful. She sat us down and she said, look, there's no easy way to really say this, but it is cancer. And, she gave us the diagnosis of acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Connor was 2.5 at that time. And right away, we had a treatment plan in front of us. They explained everything from start to finish, how it was going to go, what it was going to look like, that it wasn't going to be easy, but we'd be in it for the next 3 years.
Wow.
And I think, what was it, like that night we started chemo. Connor had a very long road with it.
He was allergic to chemos.
Unfortunately, we were there for, I want to say, about 2.5, 3 weeks, and we got discharged, and we were able to come home. We were home for not even 2 weeks. We had a little birthday party for him. As soon as we got to his birthday party, he started throwing up. He was very cold. He couldn't use the bathroom. We called. They told us to give it about an hour, give him some Tylenol and Miralax. We tried that. Within an hour, we called back and we had to take him in. When we took him in, he was in hypothermia, septic shock, and his levels were very low again. And here he was allergic to 2 of the chemos that they were giving him.
Oh, wow.
He also wound up getting pancreatitis so severely that they were calling the adult hospital to try to figure out what they could do for him. They couldn't figure out where it was leaking from. They put a drainage bag that he had for almost, about 3 months, I think.
3 or 4 months.
About 3 or 4 months. He actually came home with it.
Came home with it, and then we went to my buddy's house when his dog jumped up and ripped it out.
But it miraculously healed on its own.
Yep.
So that was one problem solved.
So goodness gracious, guys.
He's had it.
He's had a lot.
Goodness gracious. I want to back up just a little bit. I have a few questions that I did. The dog ripped out.
Bobby was holding him. Well, Rob, you call him, was holding him, and the dog jumped up on him. And when he jumped up on him, he got the line, and it ripped out a little. And we didn't notice until we went to flush the line, and he started screaming. And we called him. We took him in right away, and they wound up just taking it right out.
Yep.
So he didn't feel it once it was when the dog ripped it out. He didn't.
No, he didn't even make a sound with that.
Oh wow!
Wow. when the hospital said to you that he may die?
I think we were kind of expecting it in a way with the way that everything was going. Once we were back in the room and they told us that everything was at a 2, I think we spoke with at least 5 to 6 doctors, and I basically I remember being a mess and just saying I know I kind of screamed it, I'm like, are you telling me my kid has cancer? Like I didn't know how to take it, and they're like, well, we don't know yet, and it it was something else. It was like a movie scene. And I remember in that moment just calling all our immediate family, trying to update them because the other little ones at home, the older 2 we waited a little bit for, but we let their moms know, hey, this could possibly be what's going on.
Mm.
And
they were even supportive.
Yeah,
they were very supportive.
It was
great.
It was
Great.
a lot.
Well, your community is everyone. Your support system, it just matters. And I think when people hear that devastation makes everybody just jump in and start putting things into action.
I think it was a little harder for us though, because right before all of this, we just lost a span of 5 people too to COVID.
I lost my best friend to COVID.
So that was a number one, person. I lost my dad. It was a lot of important people that you would be calling in this situation we didn't have for our support system. Some of the people that mattered the most for it. And we do, I can't say that we didn't have a great support system. We still do.
Right.
But some of the people that you really wish were there, we didn't.
Yeah.
What would you guys say to parents who received this new diagnosis? What tips would you give them? What kind of advice would you give to parents who received the new diagnosis today, or who will receive that diagnosis tomorrow?
So I think the biggest thing that I would say is to spend every moment possible with your child. If they want you to get on that floor in that hospital room and play cars, get on that hospital floor and play cars. If they want to just, rant and rave about whatever little thing that they love to, just let them. Just be in the moment with them as much as possible, because you don't know what could happen at any given moment. For instance, I remember being in the hospital room with Connor in the ICU one night, and he was having a great day, and the next thing you know, every single alarm on his monitor was going off, and I was freaking out. And I stood by his side and just rubbed his hand to, comfort him and to be there. It's never going to be easy. I don't want to say, I don't want to give someone false hope and say that it's easy. It's not easy. So to be in the moment with your child and to make sure that you allow your support system to be there for you as much as possible. I know it may get annoying hearing that you're strong and all that, but just, you got to allow it. I mean, that's the best medicine for yourself in a way, but also to be there and be able to be, in the moment for your child as well.
Would you like to add to that, Rob?
No, I mean, the best advice I could give is
don't Google.
Yeah, don't Google anything. Google is your worst nightmare. I learned that the hard way when I found out what I found out. Also, just hold them, spend time with them, and just hold them. Because I mean, that's the best advice I could give. Is just hold your your child, your loved one, a little closer. No matter what, no matter who it is, just hold it a little closer.
Well, that was amazing advice. That's advice that we could all use. And today, Connor is in survivorship, right?
Yes.
What does that mean in your household? What does that look like?
It means no more chemo, no more every day, every week, or every other week hospital stays, or 50 million different medicines. It's a 6-year-old in kindergarten, thriving, being a normal kid again, playing with his friends and living in the moment, and not being restrained to a hospital bed or limited to certain foods and stuff, because we went through a big period of that. And it's also now, being that kid that he couldn't be, where he's got the little sassy talk back.
He's making up for it, like
making up for all that lost time by giving the attitude and the, beating up on his sisters and torturing them. So survivorship is just a happy child. Pediatric cancer is just as horrible as adult cancer, but children don't get as much as adults. And it's not fair.
I would tell them to live a day or a week in our shoes.
Right.
Let you see what we go through. So maybe you could change your mind then, because kids get treated differently.
They do.
And when it comes to adult cancer compared to pediatric cancer, it's two different ballparks.
You are so right about that, Robert. I found out something and it broke me down. And I was broken down for a minute. I was told that the reason that pediatric cancer doesn't receive the funding that adult cancer receives is because it's not lucrative enough.
That's crazy.
That's horrible. No, not at all.
We could change that. And we're going to work on changing that. And I know you guys are going to do the same thing. And
we're right there with you.
I know that to be true. I know that to be true. I know that Jason has a few things to say before we close. But
thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome. I just wanted to just say thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vital.
Thanks for having
us.
Well,
and
just to share this with you guys. The people who should be fighting are the people who have been through this storm, no matter what the outcome is. And we're not fighting for ourselves, and in some cases we are, but we're fighting for everyone, for everyone's child. There are families who have lost, and they're fighting for everyone else's child. So I'm so sorry, Jason. I just wanted to get that in.
Thank you for that. And you're fine. And before we're introducing a new segment to the show. It's called "What is the one thing you wish people knew?"
I wish that people knew that just because it's remission, that doesn't mean that the treatment stops right then and there. That doesn't mean that the person doesn't go through all of the daily stuff that they were going through beforehand. Because in all honesty, just because you're in remission, chemo's still glowing. You have a date that you stopped at. Everything doesn't just change because you got the word remission. And I wish that more people would understand that and know that, it's still a struggle for a bit. And that they would just be compassionate.
Is there anything you want to add to that, Rob?
I wish people would understand that it's not easy. and people that have kids that have cancer, yes, we make it look easy because that's how we got to stay strong for our kid. And I just want them to know that no, it's really not easy, and we're strong because we got to be strong, not because we want to be strong.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for trusting us with your story. You didn't just speak for your family today. You truly enlightened our audience, and we hope your words will help someone who really needs to hear them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys, not just for being here today, but just for the strength that it takes to continue sharing your child's story. A lot of people don't understand that part. And I want people listening to also understand something. Families don't tell these stories because they need to remember. You already know the story. You lived it. We know that you're sharing it for someone else.
Thank you for your story, guys. It was an honor to hear it, and I think we should give Connor the last word.
Absolutely.